What do you do when you've gone through something extremely difficult in your life? Hello, and welcome to today's insight. So, today's insight is going to be about that, okay? What do you do when you come out of something extremely difficult? So, clearly, when I go through something difficult in my life, okay, I share, I speak about it. For me, the best way that I found to deal with anything is talk therapy. So I talk to myself and I kind of like verbal diarrhea it to myself and I try to make sense of it all. Sometimes that sense will only come after the fact. So I'm just saying, that's my process. Well, I went to church today and but before I begin the story about me going to church, so on Wednesday morning, I woke up with a gigantic understanding. Something just made sense, right? And so I wrote to the pastor and I was like, listen, I just woke up and I just realized that I went through an extremely difficult battle, and I've been going through an extremely difficult battle during the last 2 years. And the reason why the Lord told me specifically to come to your church is because your church would be, well, I don't know if I said this exactly, but the idea behind it is that the Lord told me to go to your church because your church will be able to sustain me throughout this difficult battle I've been in. I mean, this was all psychological warfare. I did not know what to do. I just couldn't, I couldn't take it anymore. But because I was going to this church, and they did not push me into anything, right? No one suggested I go here. No one except the Lord. All right, so, and because I was in this situation, I started reading this church. The Lord led me to reading the Bible more. The Lord led me to, before that, I had started reading daily devotionals because I was a part of another group. So I kept this daily devotional thing going. And so all these things just helped me culminate a sense of wellness and sense of feeling well in myself. All of this thanks to the fact that the Lord told me to go to this church 2 years ago, and that I have been going to this church for the past 2 years, right? Now, today, I remember, on Wednesday, I sent the pastor a message briefly suggesting that I finally understood, because on Wednesday morning, I woke up to the cognition that the reason why God had sent me there was specifically to help me deal with the battle that I was going to undertake during this time. Because usually when I go through romantic feelings, I get attached and all those things. But this last relationship was extremely trying. So I'm pretty sure the Lord, knowing this, was like, Talar, you need extra care. You need extra help for this next chapter of your life. So go here. So I went to this church. And yeah, so and so today, Wednesday, I sent that message to the pastor saying that I noticed, that the reason why the Lord sent me to your church is because this church is the only church that can help me deal with the difficulties and tumultuousness of actually living this portion of my life. Okay, this section of my life. If I didn't have you guys, I would go like crazy. And so I told this to the pastor, and I was like, what? I have to go. I have to go to church this Sunday. I generally do go, But this week I was like, you know what? I'm going to go. You know, my mom wanted to do something with me, but I was like, Mom, can we do it on Saturday? And then she said, I don't feel so great, so let's keep it to next week and blah, blah, blah. So now I went to church this morning, and what I thought did happen. Well, it wasn't specifically said the way I thought it would be said, but the pastor did it in such a way that it would lead me to go and praise the Lord. And so, but he framed it as in, for all those who had gone to the pray worship night on last Saturday or last Sunday, you can now come up and talk about your experience post, worship night. And I was like, you know what? I didn't go to worship night, but I definitely had something miraculous happen to me this week, and I have to share it. So I went up and I spoke about it in Armenian, so you might not understand what I said, but I'll translate it at some point. And I remember, well, not that I remember, but it was like the whole church, or the church was so inviting and all that, because it seemed like I finally was taking part in the church. I wasn't like kind of keeping myself back. I was actually in it because I saw the benefit. I am a conduit for the Lord, right? So the Lord can heal people through me, right? I feel my hands like pulsating at this point. But that is all because of what happened to me after my accident. Like I got this gift. God gave me this gift because I've been through something this traumatic. What I feel like is that what we really say in the church that I go to, it's an evangelical church, and it's basically all the praise goes to the Lord, okay? Because all the works start from the Lord. You or I or whomever is a conduit for the Lord to speak through us, which is actually true, right? See, we think that if you think about it, everything is a part of God, okay? We are all part of God. So nothing is separate from God, but we actually have to be able to say, okay, this might have happened and this might have been all fine and dandy and all great and all that stuff, but in reality, it came from God, first and foremost. So if God had not seen me fit to be like this, it would not have happened. Now, so this is all praise to the Lord, okay? And as I mentioned on Wednesday probably, if not, I'm going to mention it now, I was going through the toughest psychological battle I have gone through, like, ever. This was so difficult, and it still is. But I've gotten a little better. And now I feel like, and I hope, because I have, connected the dots and connected it to the Lord, that now things are going to be not fully easier, but more manageable. And the right people are going to come into my reality to help me along the way. Not that they weren't before, but I would not have been able to see it as something that the Lord had sent me. The Lord did send me, but sometimes I would have been like, it's law of attraction, or it's this, or it's the crystal I'm using, or it's that. All of it starts from the Lord. Beginning. That's it. Alpha, Omega, whatever. Everything starts from big guy. Or big being. and it trickles down. So, all this to say that it's easy for us to think that it all is because of our things that we did. Or is it, we work in tandem with God, or God works in tandem with us. So as much as we like to take the credit for some things, sometimes we can't. We have to give praise to the Lord. Now, but the way I would like to see it is, yes, I will give praise to the Lord all day, every day. So, if you are in the right headspace, okay, the Lord is definitely going to help you. Yes. And now I think I'm going to need it even more, because I just saw something that really shook me to the core. Well, it didn't shake me to the core, but it's kind of surprising, but it's not at the same time. I'm like, aha. Okay, so I see what's going on. I see what's happening. And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. You want to play that game? Play that game. It's not a game for me, but play that game as you wish. Yeah. But I'm going to need strength from the Lord even more at this point, because it's a lot. And just because I've gotten a step higher does not mean that I'm completely in, or I'm completely cured, or whatever, or I'm completely free, because I'm not. I'm still human. Okay? I'm just saying. So, all I know is all of this is going to demand a ton of self-control. A ton of self-control. A ton. So, is there something you need self-control with in your life? Ponder that.